And it's just this disgusting little like pool of spit that everybody would spit into the fountain of. And then one of my friends, I'm not going to name him, he told on me. And they would light the sawdust on fire.
Smashing windows. Bro, let's go!
Guys, here's the list we came up with. 10 differences between David and Andrew. David. Guess what? We're not the same person. Shocking, I know, for a lot of people. Because it's really funny. When we meet people, some people even ask us if we're twins, and some people ask us if we're even brothers. So I don't even know what it is.
Half brothers too, you get that.
Half brothers too.
We're different, but you know what? If you say that, hey guys, I've been watching you guys for a number of years and I can't really tell the difference, then what am I going to tell you except give you a list today about the 10 ways that we're different, and then you can decide for yourself.
David used to score really high on standardized testing, as opposed to Andrew, who scored maybe slightly above average.
Yeah, I mean, I got sent to a different elementary school and got put in a gifted program.
Because I remember we didn't really talk about it. Like, it was just like, oh.
No, every year it was just like, mom and dad are just like, let's try to get Andrew in a gifted and have him take the test again.
Yeah, and guess what? I tried a couple years and I didn't get in. I mean, it was a slightly different experience, man. When you would tell me about your school, and your school operated a little differently than my school, which was more of like the older public school with just regular kids. And your school was just like, this had the gifted program.
But not, yeah, it was crazy because it was a public school in a richer district though. It was brand new. We had elevators at our school.
Yeah. It was a new school. It was a new build out.
It was a new school. And I was at a new program in a new school.
And I remember when you would come to my school to play basketball after school, because we had the hoops and we had all the hoopers at our school. You know when I knew your school was different, David? When I went to go see a play that you were in, and you were in Midsummer's Night's Dream.
Yeah, Shakespeare.
You had a small role. You got killed in it. Oberon dies. Did you get stabbed in your...
I did. Yeah. It was really bad. I remember that the Shakespeare coach would always, it wasn't like our regular teachers, like somebody came in to do it. She always was trying to get me to buy in. But the crazy thing was I demanded the most dominant role in the play, because Oberon's like a king, and I would do a bad job. Because I was like, I ain't gonna be no stagehand. I ain't gonna be moving the curtain.
Dude, there was programs at your school I had never heard of, like steel drums.
Basically what happened was we had this like one music teacher, and he would like spend time in Jamaica. And at these new schools, they just have like more budgets and stuff. They can just get like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because it's a special school. They get stuff just approved by the school district. So he would buy these steel drums that were like thousands of dollars each, and he had like 20 of them. And
it's
then
like from the Caribbean.
People would be playing like all these like all these like
calypto.
Yeah.
Isn't that, yeah, that's what it's called.
Yo, I remember one time we had an assembly because somebody shot a BB gun through like, all right, so we had these double paned like modern windows.
Yeah. They were like the shatterproof.
Yeah, the shatterproof, and it broke one of the windows, but it didn't even shatter.
No, it just left a little crack
in it.
Yeah,
it just left a crack in it.
And this was like after school, like on half hours.
Yeah, we had like a whole assembly about it. And then the next summer, or the next like, not even the summer, I just came to go hoop at Seuss Creek, and kids are just smashing windows. Like I'm talking about throwing gigantic rocks through like what I imagine are like $800 gigantic panes of windows, just smashing them. And then remember you said you went to school and in the morning they don't have any assembly. They just replace the glass and they just keep it pushing.
People would take the sawdust from the playground and they would light the sawdust on fire after school. And then next day you would come to school and then you'd see this big pile of ash just in front of your homeroom door. And then there was these old concrete fountains that didn't work anymore.
Right.
And then this one time, and it's just this disgusting little like pool of spit that everybody would spit into the fountain of. And then one of my friends, I'm not gonna name him, it wasn't Richie, he told on me, and then
that you spit in it.
That I spit in it, but everybody spit in him. And then the recess teacher made me clean it up in front of everybody. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Number 2, Andrew grew up with less pressure and expectations on him, unlike David, who had a little bit more pressure being the oldest son. Now, we have an oldest sister. Shout out to Tracy. But being the oldest son, obviously, in an Asian household,
traditional Asian family to some extent, you know.
You are given the most pressure, but for good reason. Like we said, just in point number 1, you were testing high. You clearly were a smart kid naturally.
Yeah,
so
there was a lot of pressure on me to skip grades and stuff.
Yeah, there was a lot of pressure for you to kind of go to college early. I think they were trying to do that.
Oh, they were trying to push me into that program where you go enter your freshman year in either 8th or 9th grade is your freshman year.
No, there's some kids at the University of Washington campus that are like 15 years old. Basically, the point here, though, is that I grew up with less pressure being the youngest child. Mom and dad didn't teach me Chinese, but on my own, I didn't pick it up very well either. So there was kind of less pressure on me for a lot of things.
I think anytime Asian parents have 3 kids and they've already had both genders before the 3rd kid, it's almost like the 3rd kid's like, are they healthy? Are they good person?
Yeah.
All good.
I feel like this. All right, I'll sum it up this way. I feel like mom and dad, when they noticed and realized that, like, okay, Andrew, he's smart enough. He's got good energy. You know, he's good at athletics. You know, he's a good kid. We'll be happy.
Yeah.
But they were like still pushing, like, David, there's still hope that you can go to like an Ivy League.
No,
You make
like
it 'cause-
achieve the conventional Confucian metric accolades. I think that Asian parents are not wrong for wishing those things for their kids, but I think the conventional Confucian accolades and like achievement milestones are definitely, people got to have a better way of stressing those for their children. I think in 2019, the kids are not getting the old school tiger pressure. I think they still get it, but I just think it looks different. It's not like, yo, like, son, we will not love you if you do not get 4.0. In America, you could see kids that are achievement oriented, like in a conventional way, without that type of parenting. And not only to that, you see a lot of kids who don't get any of that. And obviously you're gonna compare yourself to those kids, and then you're always gonna be seeing what you're missing. Obviously, versus like being raised in Asia where like theoretically almost everybody treats their kids that way more so.
This is point number 3. David grew up in a more traditional, conventional gangster era of school.
Once the gifted program ended in elementary, we all went to a mixed junior high.
Public. This is public school.
There's no more
Very
like,
public.
they don't ship you out anymore they just put you in separate programs, but at the same school.
Right. The characters and the popular kids at your school at that time were acting and more traditionally hood. I think my year, 2 years younger, it's not that we didn't have any elements of that, but that was no longer like the coolest kid. The coolest kids were more, it was a more mixed crowd.
It was, dude, I remember people getting in almost like fist fights, even talking about Tupac versus Biggie.
Right.
Like, this is just like a barbershop conversation that just gets out of control.
Yeah.
You went to the hillbilly school, and then I went to the bougie school, and then when I got to junior high, I made friends with the kids from the hood school.
Point number 4, Andrew likes acting and performing a lot more and feels more comfortable doing it.
Yeah, I think
That's
that
always
being
been
the
in me.
youngest, it's almost like they're typically the most outgoing.
Usually, yeah. And I feel like I was pretty outgoing as a kid and out there.
In a way, you know, Asian kids, I guess specifically Chinese kids, they're not really that known for being like wild, expressive performers. That is not the stereotype.
I just get on stage. I just like to, even if it's just a dance or just to have people see me, like that was always something I was drawn to.
You would perform at the Apollo.
Oh, I would have totally, and taken my chances and getting pulled off the stage by Sandman. I would have gone for it. Like, I wouldn't have cared.
I always knew that you would enter yourself in performance competitions where you got judged and got feedback, and it was nothing for you to just be like, oh, I'm signing up for that. I'm gonna go perform at that thing. I was gonna make a joke. I was gonna make a joke about show hands. And like, welcome to the show. And you know, the tough thing is, man, I feel like different schools have different opportunities to exercise that. And I do think that one thing that is tough is that, like, in the Asian world, there's not a lot of opportunities to exercise that freestyle performance aspect. People want you to perform when you perform, like karaoke. Yeah. You know, that's why people love KTV, Nori Bong, and stuff like that. But like, they are not necessarily up for an impromptu performance in the middle of the workday, in the middle of a group study session.
And that's one of the funnest times to do it. It's when people don't expect it.
Yeah, that's true.
You're just at the table studying. Hey, you guys want to take a break? Hey, you guys want to see this new dance move? Number 5. Another fact about Andrew is that Andrew, me, is less intense / less angry. I'm a little bit more Coachella about it. And I kind of have the ability more to just sit back and enjoy myself. I will say I think I have my moments where, you know, if it's really heated, it can flare up. But like generally for me, it takes a lot for me to yell at somebody.
I feel like it's like for you generally don't get mad as much, but then you have a few like triggers.
You are more slightly angry more often. Like you have your little flames, your little flare-ups.
I bristle at a lot of things.
No, you're constantly burning. Number 6, we look different, and therefore we do get treated differently, particularly in LA.
Like it might only be like a 10 pound, 15 pound difference, but it's distributed differently. I'm shorter, I'm broader.
I would say, you know, like kind of like a wrestler.
I am built like a wrestler.
Or even a running back, but even more of a wrestler than a running back possibly.
And you are like more long and skinny.
Long and skinny. But you know what's funny? I hated that word skinny growing up.
You know how, just back to the previous point where I said you would have triggers? Skinny would set you off, bro. Like you used to be like, yeah, I'm skinny, bro. Let's go.
What's funny is that I was considered skinny back where we grew up. And then I come to LA, and that's actually really where skinny people are. Slim was, I think, a word I was cool with, but skinny, I don't know why. That would just set me, like, I don't even care anymore, but I still don't think I'm skinny, but I was just like, I don't know why I got so mad about that. Being a bigger guy, I mean, how is that perceived even in entertainment, right? Like, you're considered the bigger one. I'm considered the skinnier one here on the channel. Like, we've heard comments like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think from an entertainment aspect, you do not see a lot of Asian guys with NFL build.
It's just like coming to LA and doing entertainment, and entertainment is oftentimes such a stereotypical or archetype thing where people slot you into roles.
It doesn't really matter how you see yourself in the mirror. It's like what the casting director believes a large majority of the audience will see when they look at you in the screen. I mean, it sort of feels like getting, I don't know how to say it. It's kind of like being Kevin Jonas. Richie is the guy, who's the guy with the beard? Joe?
That's Joe Jonas.
Richie looks like Joe Jonas. Yeah, you'd be Nick and I'd be like Kevin. It's like, not that I care. I really don't care. But I think the tough thing is like when you're in the Asian world, these pop standards get applied so hard. In other groups, you have Johnny Depp, who's like a very sleek Italian look, right? He's like your Steven Yeun, right? But then you have Joe Rogan, who's like a really beefy, like, you know, more like whatever muscular, my archetype is. You know what I mean? Like he's more really sturdy, broad,
huskier,
pit bull. You know, I always say baby pug, crazy thug type archetype, right? But I feel like for other groups, it's like, it's really fleshed out. They got the whole spectrum. But for Asians, it's almost like if you're not fitting that Steven Yeun, Johnny Depp, Orlando Bloom, Andrew Garfield look, it's almost like there's no room for it.
And that's why representation for Asians on a huge range means a lot. Like you need all different types of characters. You can't just have like these tall, slim, you know, gorgeous looking Asian guys representing Asians. Like it doesn't make any sense. When I saw a lot of our Asian fans, and it's always Asian fans, and I'm gonna call out Asian fans for a second. They're just more drawn to my direction. And it always like, I mean, it doesn't make me feel good. It's weird. Like I'm like, do you guys watch the channel? Like,
it's like, hey, coming up to you, Fung Bros, I love you guys. Dude. And then they hand me the camera. Can you take this picture? I'm just like,
yo, that is wild.
I don't know. I think it's a journey. I think as you get older, you just don't even care about it anymore because you learn more what's important to yourself and who you are. But I definitely think at a time where the way you feel is more based around like your interactions with other people. And I think anybody in the public eye goes through this.
And no one's gonna blame you for feeling that way. Like I'm saying, it's completely fair.
Yeah,
you know,
it's human. It's human for sure. And there was a time where I was just like, feel some type of way about it. But now I'm kind of just like, hey man, as long as you keep watching the channel and you hit the like button, it's all good. It's all good because like I don't make it for that person.
I think when you appeal to Asians, and a lot of Asians are traditional thinking, these things pop up more. But had we been, let's say we just wanted to appeal to just anybody who was interested into the NBA, I think this, like if we had an NBA channel and that's all we did, this would not be as big of an issue. David, you lived in Asia a lot longer and you are traditionally more Asian than I am.
Yeah.
You're more traditional. I mean, this kind of goes back to being an older brother, more pressure.
It is generally the organic, I'm not saying for every family, the organic timeline of the kids, the more kids you have, in a way the less conventionally tied to tradition they are.
Well, there's this one meme, this like subtle Asian meme where it shows like the older sibling and it's like taking all the fire from the back and it's like covering the younger sibling. And the meme says like, oh, this is the older sibling taking all the like the crazy parenting. You and Tracy took it first. So then it gets filtered down to me. And then by the time it gets to me, it's like not even the same.
Spending a lot of time in Asia growing up and kind of like, I still kind of remember partially being raised by Mama, like a little bit, like when they used to more live with us for months at a time.
Right.
You know, when we're really young, and like obviously that goes with the language too. You know, you hear a ton more Chinese growing up.
Yeah.
And you're expected to communicate in it too. Yeah. You're expected to talk back in it, and you just end up doing it. I mean, most kids, when you're just presented with that, you
also spent more time with Mama, with Grandma, Grandpa.
Oh yeah, even as I got older.
Yeah. So that pretty much, I mean, if you guys have seen the channel for a while, you could probably tell David is better at Mandarin.
Hearing a lot of those teachings, and it's almost like, it's really interesting because especially our grandfather, you know, RIP, is like, he was like really philosophical. You know what I mean? Like kind of in a conventional kung fu movie, karate movie type way. Like not with that he was a martial arts master himself, but he definitely had some quotes.
Dude, he had some one-liners. That I even remember some of them, but I'm sure you spoke with him more.
Right. Yeah.
Point number 8, David did not really join a lot of organizations such as those in college. You didn't really partake in student government, even though I think you got elected, but you were like in and out of that.
Oh no, you're talking about in high school.
In high school and college.
Oh man, I was just trying to stack my resume to go to college.
You're like anti-establishment more. From a young age, I felt like you didn't know exactly where you wanted to be, but you knew what you didn't like.
Oh man, very strongly. For sure. I have strong allergic reactions to like environments.
Yeah, I'll say this, and this is probably a fact about you. You really know what you don't like. You kind of know what you like and where you want to be, but your dislike is much stronger and it alerts you quicker. And you're like, nope, I don't like this. So I think for me, I don't know if it was growing up without systems or my ability. I'm a little bit more of a chill person. I'm okay joining orgs. Now, I don't buy into them 100%, but it's almost like for me, if I'm going to join it, I'm going to try. So like I was part of like the Chinese Student Association in college and a couple other orgs, you know, I was trying in those. And even in high school or junior high, I was part of student body government. I was just trying DECA marketing club leader, whatever.
Right.
Track captain. I was just kind of had this attitude like, if I'm going to be here, like I might as well like lead. But sometimes I think for you were just like, actually, this is not even what I want to do. And then in my heart, I was like, do I really want to do this? Do I? I guess I can. And then I would go and do it. Has its pros and cons, you know, kind of depends on what kind of life you want to lead. But, you know, moving forward, it's good to know what you don't like. But it's also really good to know where you need to be.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's the other side of it. Anyways, guys, moving on to point number 9. We're almost through this list. I know we've been running this long, but there was a lot to talk about. David in general, and I mean, if you have heard point 1 through 8, this is pretty self-explanatory. David tends to be a little bit more in his head, analyzes more, and is more of a writer.
My brain muscles got to be ripped.
Yeah. See, David, you might not be as ripped on the body, but your brain is probably shredded, bro.
Yeah, probably.
Your brain,
which kind of makes you go. Sometimes it makes me wonder. I mean, like, man, we probably should be a little bit further along than we are in terms of career with the level that I thought about.
Hey, but a lot of the very interesting pieces that we've done on our channel have been, you know, led by you and your.
Not everybody with like an octo or even a processor in the brain is successful.
You don't actually have to be smart to make money, as we know on YouTube. You don't have to be smart or intelligent or deep.
You know,
you just gotta be in your right lane. You gotta fit in, you gotta grind and align, and that's how you make money. Number 10, we're gonna end it off with some funny common duo archetypes. All right, these are things that I guess you could compare me and David to if you're thinking of these pairings. Number 1, Mario and Luigi.
Visually,
classic.
It's funny.
Yeah, no, it fits visually. And Luigi's the younger bro. Mario's a little short, thicker. Luigi's a little taller, slimmer, green outfit. Obama and Joe Biden. Well, I guess, you know, in this, you'd be Obama, I'd be Joe Biden.
Yeah, that one. It's
funny.
like if you think about Biden's like a lot more like
chill,
expressive.
goofy one. Obama's a little bit more in his head. Pinky in the Brain. I would be Pinky. You'd be the brain. Josh and Drake. Drake and Josh. I never watched that show, but I know
They sometimes in marketing meetings back in the day when we used to have a TV show, they would like bring up Josh and Drake, and I remember going, who?
Key and Peele, Sean and Marlon Wayans.
Oh yeah,
I'd say
I'd be Sean, you'd be Marlon.
Yeah, I'd be Marlon. I'd definitely Marlon.
I might be more like Keenan Ivory.
And then maybe I would be like Sean and Marlon put together.
Yeah.
We are wrapping up these 10 differences between David and Andrew, and these are things that we talk about amongst ourselves, but we never actually addressed on the channel. And I will say some of this was pretty personal. You know, as personal
for sure.
as we get.
Some of it, I really had to access some of my brain files that I hadn't. That were
You're
getting
like
dusty.
looking through the index folders, and yeah, I mean,
I hadn't thought about gifted class in a while.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about Seuss Creek in a while. So it's kind of funny to bring back those stories, and I hope that you guys got to know us better. And some of you guys may have already kind of felt this way, and we just confirmed what you were thinking.
And I think this is the thing that I realized is that a lot of people learn through other people's openness. Even though the details were all about the Fung Bros, me and you, right? I think that a lot of people can take a lot of takeaways from their own life from even listening to this. And I think there was a time when I didn't believe that was possible.
Right.
One thing I realized is a lot of people, they don't have this type of honest discussion within their siblings.
It's always surprising to me when a lot of people are like, wow, you guys like don't hate each other? Like, how do you not get sick of each other? I'm like, well, it's not that we don't argue and like.
Please, in the comment section below, number one, let us know if you had thought about any of these points in terms of the difference between me and Andrew. But number two, let us know about the differences between you and your siblings. And if you are the only child, maybe just some differences in siblings that you observe, maybe amongst your cousins, friends, family.
Oh, and definitely hit that like button if you guys have not already. Turn on your notifications and subscribe. I'm sure if you watched this video, you probably already did, but if you didn't, hit that like. Hey guys, thank you for watching, and until next time, we out. Peace.